Hunter Young, who's actually on pole position here. So, again, perhaps a bit of an unexpected occurrence there. Looks like it's Young on pole, Chase Beatty alongside him on the front row. And it looks like I think we're on the second pace lap here. As, yeah, we are just coming onto the back straight here, Regan. So, yeah, what are you thinking? Again, things look a little bit different here right now. It looks like Nickens is starting third instead of pole like we had initially thought. But, yeah, things could be rather interesting, again, given the slightly different configuration of how things are looking up front.
Yeah, getting a bit of a lumberjack quality on my end here, but I'll do my best to watch this the way I can. But yes, the start of this race is definitely going to be quite the thing to witness here. It's going to be, I believe, it's an 80-lap shootout, so it's going to be quite a while until we get to the end. But at the same time, though, a lot of these races have been pretty short, mostly, other than maybe some of the endurance races like Gateway or Charlotte. We'll just have to find out. It'll come naturally, most likely.
And we're going to find out soon enough here as the field's coming around turn 4. And, yeah, it's green flag time here. Hunter Young's going to lead them to the line. And Chase Beatty watching him closely. As we are officially set now, and tonight's Fix Auto Charlottetown 200 is officially underway now. That line's a little bit deceptive there in terms of where it actually is, but looks like Young's gotten off to a really good start here. Nickens down the inside up into second. Chase Beatty losing out early on, but Hunter Young maintains the lead for about one turn as it looks like Nickens has the inside line to grab the lead from him. And it looks like last week's winner, Jose Mercado, is very much factoring into the action here as well. As Nickens is pushed up to the front. There's Young still in the 20. He's dropped down to third. We're with Chase Beatty now running in second. And it looked like it was a couple wide there out of turn 3. But again, that's kind of what this slightly different configuration at Indianapolis can do. Obviously, there's that little kind of mini straight between turns 3 and 4 as opposed to just being straight up connected turns. So yeah, this particular track, obviously well known and full of history over the years, it's got its own little quirks as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got the Indy 500, you got the Brickyard 400, Formula 1 used to go here as well. In real life now for NASCAR, obviously, they use the Indy Road Course, and as most NASCAR fans likely know by now, the races this past weekend at the Indy Road Course were absolutely, like, complete anarchy, absolute chaos. Winners Tyler Reddick and AJ Allmendinger, and of course in the IndyCar there was Alexander Rossi winning for the first time since 2019, so a lot of good storylines and headlines in real life. But going back to this, obviously Mike Nickens has pulled away pretty decent here so far from Chase Beatty, although Beatty is staying still kind of a short distance away there, a bit of a decent gap. And then over in third place still, I believe that's Hunter Young. I'm trying to mix in between the stream and the quality I'm getting here from what I'm watching from your end here, Jordy, because yeah, the quality, there's a massive quality difference in comparison, but I'm doing my best to catch up. So
no, that's totally understandable, and somewhere along the way I will point out that Bob Drew III has worked his way up into third, Young in fourth. We're with Travis Tyson right now, who rounds out the top 5. So again, maybe a little bit of a different looking top 5 than what we've been accustomed to, but I think the thing that we've learned over the course of this season is that, you know, even though the results tend to favor, you know, a few drivers here and there, it seems like guys can still be competitive on any given week.
Well, see, that's the thing too. This is the let me get back to the schedule here very quickly. This is race 8 of the season, and like after this race, there's only 2 remaining, and then we get to the playoffs, and like it's like Indianapolis, Darlington, Talladega. The end of this regular season here is going to be. It's going to be wild because that's 3 tracks right there that are super difficult, and at the same time, there's a lot of these drivers, especially like underdogs and drivers that are closer down to the cut line, that want to prove themselves, start getting into more of the headlines here, pop themselves out here, obviously on the broadcast, get their names through, and they'll want to get a playoff spot too. And this is the time to shine for a lot of those guys. And some of the top guys might have to figure out some ways to be able to challenge them at the same time, because they might be getting challenged now. It's kind of all over the place, but yeah, with all these other drivers like the underdogs starting to come in and get a name out of themselves towards the end of this regular season, towards the beginning of the playoffs. That's all I really need to say there. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, like you hit the nail on the head there as we're watching Jose Mercado right now, having just gotten passed by Reggie Kime. Obviously, he booked his playoff spot last week with his very eventful victory at Gateway, one that maybe he wouldn't have thought was coming through, maybe the middle of the second stage. But again, it sort of speaks to your point after tonight, just 2 races left before the playoffs start, and of course just the 2 races in each playoff round instead of 3, so the margin for error is that much lower. And for these guys, fewer races, you got to kind of stay in form. As we'll move along now to the number 6 of Bob Drew III, still running in 3rd place in his number 6 Top Gun Racing Ford out of Miamisburg, Ohio. And Drew looks like he could be coming under pursuit here from Hunter Young on the start-finish straight. But Bob Drew, he's certainly been a guy that, outside of obviously Leo Jameson and all the damage he's done, out of the first-year drivers, Bob Drew III, he's been the guy that really we've been watching in the last 3 or 4 races especially, and we've seen that level of consistency just continue to ramp up from him. As we go down the back.
Yes, through 6 races. Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's one of these. But I mean, through 6 races so far, the newcomers, 1 top 5, or well, actually, no, this is technically after 6 races, but I'll still use it anyways. The last time that we have the statistics before Gateway, we'll just not count it for now, I guess. Through the first 6 races before Gateway, he had 1 top 5 and 5 top 10s, no DNFs, doesn't have any stage wins or playoff points yet, but regardless of that, he still had a pretty solid average start, average finish, 11 and 10 respectively. He's been very consistent with those top 10 finishes. Only has 1 top 5, and I don't recall exactly if it was a podium or not, but he's been able to run smoothly through all these races. There have been some moments where he's been caught up and stuff, but it really hasn't been his fault. Like, on his end, it's been a pretty clean season so far for him, and if he's able to continue that momentum towards the end of this regular season, plus heading into the playoffs, then like it could definitely go in his favor. The only thing is, though, he probably should be careful in how clean he keeps himself, especially with the playoffs coming around, because at that time the racing's going to get pretty close and pretty tight, and he might want to start getting a little bit more aggressive. I'm not saying he isn't at all right now, but I feel like there maybe should be a little bit more awareness for that potential aggressiveness and like go for it moments. So I'm not saying he hasn't gone through any of that, but nope. I feel like, especially with how clean of a driver he can be and like how consistent, how smooth he is, he should definitely consider that, and I have no doubt that he will, and I think he'll definitely be a contender come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly more than showcased himself over the first half of the season here, as we're checking in on Andy Hurdle, who I believe at last check was just on the outside of the playoff picture, or just barely inside. But right now, he's looking like he's off to a fairly decent start here tonight, as he tries to get to the back of the number 9 of Jacob Nelson. And Hurdle, it should be noted, on the IndyCar side of things, I believe he picked up our Indy 250 winner And let's just see. Yeah, getting word that might be a little bit of an issue in terms of some of the sound mixing here. So let me see what I can do on that front. Yeah, a little bit of a weird configuration here tonight. Still trying to figure out the right balance, I guess, in terms of, you know, what we're doing on this kind of split setup as opposed to what we were doing before. So hopefully, again, you guys kind of bear with us here. We're at least on the right computer now as opposed to the last couple of weeks where I was kind of hung out with, you know, the software that maybe wasn't the best, but we're on the ideal system here now. So hopefully it'll kind of progress as we move along now to the number 97 of Ty Higginbotham. And Higgy looks like he's just ahead of Nelson here on the track. And it looks like Hunter Young may have fallen back here a little bit. So this is a little solid 4-car battle here, it would appear, with Higginbotham leading this kind of quartet with Nelson, Young, and Hurdle there right at the back of it. I'll have to see if I can get a camera angle to get a sense of the kind of separation between Higginbotham and anyone who happens to be ahead. And yeah, not 100% sure what's going on there as Higginbotham completes another lap. And as he does that, I guess we'll stay with this trio here as Jacob Nelson's the next kind of camera option here. And let's just see. Have to try and... And it sounds like we might be getting into a bit of a pit window here based on what I'm hearing from the Discord. Again, just trying to kind of figure stuff out as we go. Hopefully it's the kind of thing that we'll be able to, or that I specifically can kind of get right moving forward. And let's just see. I thought I had it decently, but maybe not. Again, there's still a little bit of trial and error that has to happen. As we check in now on the 77 of Reggie Kime, another Top Gun racing driver out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. And Reggie, we saw him make a nice move on, I believe it was, I wanted to say it was Jacob Nelson, but I don't think it was. Now I see him kind of running on his own here. So again, kind of getting into the pit window. 9 remaining in stage 1, we're being told. As Kime comes through to complete another lap, it looks like, I'm not sure if that's Darcy Ford coming out of pit lane. Certainly looked like a red car. Something with red in the back, and indeed it is the 64 just making his way out. As we'll go ahead and check on Jonathan Warr now in the number 29, the JMW Racing outfit out of Saugerties, New York. And sounds like 17 of Corbin McCauley's making his way into pit lane, the Red Dirt Racing driver. And we're just getting that word from, well, the man himself in race control. And as Warr comes through to complete another lap, we're going to go on to the aforementioned number 64 of Darcy Ford. As we should be coming up on, I believe, 8 laps left in this opening stage, perhaps 7 at this point. We'll have to do our best to try and get a bit of a reset here before too long, just to try and get ourselves reoriented toward the end of the stage so we don't wind up missing the finish. Now, again, kind of get a little bit of a bare bones look at how the spectating mode works within NASCAR Heat 5. So essentially, I'm not doing anything too magical as Ford kind of pushes away past Kime there. But yeah, essentially, for those who might not be aware, this is sort of a little peek behind the curtain. Really, not a whole lot going on my end, just kind of following drivers as we go along as Ford completes another lap. Now we check in on Brandon Reed, the number 36 Red Dirt Racing driver out of Fort Worth, Texas. And Reed, another guy who's a little bit lower in the standings, outside of that top 16 right now, really needing to make something happen over the next 3 weeks, counting tonight. And as he makes his way down the back straight, obviously a little bit of separation here throughout the fields. Regan, obviously not a whole lot that we're seeing immediately anyway in the way of battles. So maybe, well, obviously not nearly as eventful as the events of Gateway last week, but of course we said that before stage 3 as well, and look what happened there.
Yeah, number one, I think it's kind of, I guess on one end you could say that it's kind of a good thing that maybe it's a little bit calmer, because Gateway was quite the train to ride on. But then on the other end as well, we probably should be careful with jinxing, because like you said, look at what happened at Gateway. So,
yeah, no kidding about that. As we check in, we had a look at Daniel Cudmore, fresh off the plane, effectively back from England. So hopefully he enjoyed the vacation. We'll certainly catch up on the other side of that. But now we'll check in on the 85 of Kevin Daigle out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. Taking her a little tight through turn 4 by the looks of things, but it looks like he's heading into pit lane. So that would certainly explain that as we get back out onto the track, where we find the 93 of Tom Janikowski. Started 3rd last week, didn't necessarily translate result-wise, but he's a guy who's very much toward the bottom of that playoff picture right now and could certainly stand a couple of good results.
I guess especially around this time of the regular season, as I've said before, it's time to shine. It's the important time of the season, at least before the important time of the season. But yeah, Janikowski, it's been kind of on and off with him. He's been pretty, based on statistics I'm looking at, he's been pretty solid with his qualifying positions. It's just some of the results are not really there. But again, though, he's one of those guys to keep an eye on towards the bottom of the playoff standings, towards that cut line, and he's got quite a decent gap over the cut line 16th, 17th range there. So yeah, he started to pop up a little bit more as this regular season has gone on, and even though he's towards the bottom of the standings, like if he still stays there by the time playoffs begin, I still would not keep him. I would still not keep him out of the picture, because we have seen quite the improvement for him over the past couple races, like many other drivers.
Absolutely, we have, and now we're looking at one of the guys who's basically been there since the green flag dropped in Daytona, that being the 94 of Leo Jameson. Of course, 2 victories this year in the Tornado Alley Racing Chevy. And the Atlanta native, would not be surprised if he's running his best here this evening. He gave me a little bit of a backgrounder, actually, Regan, into what went down with him last week, because we both noted that he'd fallen down the field a little bit in terms of where we would have expected him to be. And let me just actually pull up what he said. So, I'm just getting it up here. So, what happened was, he did pit right away on at the beginning of stage 2 at Gateway last week. And in his words, basically had to save the whole stage, but then he got involved in a wreck, and had to drive the last 15 laps with half a radiator, apparently. And then got the lucky dog to start stage 3.
That's not fun.
And ultimately drove through the field to get up to P6. So that was the tail of the tape for the 94 last week. Certainly hoping for things to go a little bit smoother this time around.
Well, yeah, for sure. I do have a mixture there of a surprise and not surprise. I mean, it's Leo Jamieson. Look at what we've seen through this regular season from that newcomer. Yeah, like he's got 2 wins and 7 races now. He's got some of the best. He's got like the best statistics that we have of all the drivers. He's part of the Tornado Alley team as well. He's got quite the momentum and quite the roster with him, with Higginbottom and Jonathan Peden. So yeah, there's that part of me that's just not surprised at all that he was actually able to rebound from all of that. So obviously, congratulations to him on that. 6th place finish, solid for him after going through all of that. I can't blame him for any that, obviously, and hopefully, yes, like you said, he's hoping to get a better finish here at the Brickyard. And I mean, I would also say towards the end of the regular season here, if the way he's been performing, this could be possibly the best rookie campaign we've ever seen from anyone that has joined this series.
Certainly up there. And yeah, just getting word that sounds like the stage may have ended here. Just trying to get a sense of who happens to be where. And stage is just finished, we're being told. And again, I don't have the data on who's done what here. As soon as I get that, I will pass that along. Obviously, not the easiest thing to follow with as you're trying to make your way through the field, and obviously a lot of pit stops went down, but as I say, stage 1 is very much in the books. We should find out shortly here who's picked up the stage win. As you can see, we've been talking about it plenty, but now you get the evidence that we're absolutely not working with a leaderboard here in NASCAR Heat 5, so we're absolutely relying on the efforts of our drivers, and we're very appreciative of any contributions that they're able to make along the way. And here we go. We've got
they're there.
Results, and good Lord, there's a lot of GTR on there.
That's the whole top 5's got GTR names.
Yeah. So we'll put this in some kind of order here. So it's Leo Jamieson who picked up the stage win. So talk about keeping the car clean, he certainly did that. Jose Mercado finished the stage in 2nd as we get ready for stage 2. John Peden finishes 3rd. Mike Nickens comes home in 4th. Jacob Nelson rounds out the top 5. Ty Higginbotham finishes 6th. Andy Hurdle picking up a nice little haul of points in 7th. Bob Drew the 3rd comes home in 8th. Mike Marini in 9th after getting word that I believe he ran out of gas actually at the very end of the stage. And then it's tonight's pole sitter Hunter Young who picked up the final points in 10th as we are on board with the number 20 right now. So yeah, maybe not the most diverse top 10, especially if you happen to look at the PSN names, but you know, certainly the cream rose to the top, perhaps as one would expect. As we try to get a look through the field, it looks like Young's a little bit further down the field to begin stage number 2. Looks like he's around 15th, somewhere in that ballpark. As I was going to say, we'll check in on Chase Beatty, and a matter of fact, there he is. Thought he might have had a disconnect from what I was looking at. Oh, no, that's Jamieson caught up in something.
Oh, big wreck. Oh, that's not good. That is not good for those drivers.
Yeah, we kind of missed the start of it. It sounds like Jose Mercado may have clipped the apron from what we're hearing from the Discord. But certainly some carnage.
I'm checking at the stream here. It looks like Leo Jamieson there up in the wall. I'm trying to play it back here a little slowly. The first angle I can see here is that, Leo Jamieson, Jose Mercado are up there on the outside wall, and then Jamieson gets absolutely slammed into and goes wild up into the air. And I believe that may have been Jonathan War also getting involved along with B14 and Dan Mattiello. And yeah, that's also Mercado getting up in the air. I believe Brandon Reed is also involved. But yeah, it's some pretty wild air for Mercado and Leo Jameson. That is not good at all for those two, especially Jameson literally just won the stage, I believe you were saying.
Yeah.
So that is out of nowhere. It's like we were literally just talking about Jameson like doing all great and everything with a great rebound from Gateway, goes on to win the stage, and then I don't mean to be unprofessional, but he died basically.
Essentially, well, I mean, in gaming terms, I think you're totally fair to use that. So
yeah, I'd say in a gaming way, he's basically gone.
But yeah, I mean, of course, we thought Mercado may have been gone last week, and then look what happened, unfortunately, at the expense of our current leader, Mike Nickens, as he's been the beneficiary of that turn 2 incident. And it looks like Jacob Nelson's trying to hang on to the back of him here as well. Those two kind of pulling away very early on in stage number 2. It looks like Ty Higginbotham might be there in either 3rd or 4th. I definitely see the orange, so I'm going to say 4th. Or no, I think that might actually be Darcy Ford. In 4th, let me just see here. There's a 3-4 battle definitely going on behind this lead battle.
I believe that's Higginbottom, then Darcy Ford, based on what I see from the stream going back.
No. I was picking one or the other. I guess it wound up being both in this case. So we'll check in on Travis Tyson now. Looks like he's fallen back down the field here a little bit. I wonder if maybe he got caught up in that turn 2 incident as well, as it looks like he's running with Reed there. Although the 87, it looks rather clean, unless he's been in for a pit stop already since. But we'll try and make our way back up the field here a little bit. There's Jose Mercado, who, again, we did confirm was kind of right in the middle of that accident to begin this second stage. And again, last week's winner, not quite having things go his way here so far tonight. As we'll go on now to Bob Drew III. Looks like he's tucked in behind Higginbotham, so I think that puts him in about 5th place right now. And again, just kind of keeping the car clean like we were talking about earlier. Riggs, it looks like the 6th, obviously knock on wood, putting together yet another solid, consistent run here so far tonight.
Yeah, you said it. What I was saying earlier about Bob Drew III with consistency, staying clean, and just running his own race. It's just the same old thing once again. It's nothing to complain about.
Not one bit, as Bobby comes through turns 1 and 2. He's got Andy Hurdle in pursuit, as the pair look to catch Darcy Ford and Ty Higginbotham. So that's 1 through 6, as I would presume, given what's gone down. I think we saw Jameson on screen there a moment ago, but I think that is lap traffic now. Yes, it has to be. It'd be a hell of a recovery to go flipping and then get back into the lead within 2 laps. So that's Jameson doing the good guy thing and getting right back into, or staying out of the way of the leaders here in this first part of the stage. As it looks like Nickens and Nelson are just continuing to push on, trying to extend their lead. As we'll look in on Andy Hurdle now, getting the other side of this 5th place battle. And for Hurdle, again, he picked up the 4 points for 7th place in stage 1. But if he can grab a haul of points here for himself, it certainly wouldn't hurt his cause, as he looks to put in a late bid to get into the playoffs. And obviously that will have been, you know, it was kind of hampered a little bit by him missing Mid-Ohio a couple of weeks ago. But if he's able to keep it consistent this week and the next two, he's still got an outside shot, I would say. As they continue down the start-finish straight to begin yet another lap. And let's just see as they come through turn 2, make sure nothing crazy happens this time around. Looks like everyone's through cleanly. And now we'll get to Ty Higginbotham running in 4th as he and Darcy Ford look to track down the race leaders. That being still looks like Jacob Nelson's actually moved into the lead here with Nickens in 2nd. And again, Leo Jameson kind of tucked right in the middle there as lap traffic after that accident a few laps ago. But they might actually get a bit of a run, they being Ford and Higginbotham, off the back of Jameson here to try and get within striking distance of Nickens at minimum for 2nd. And let's just see. It sounds like Darcy Ford, we're getting word from race control, kind of sliding a little bit, but still able to maintain control of that 64. And that, of course, is a big reason why he is the defending Earl Ross Cup champion. Still without a win this season, though. I'm sure he'd love nothing more than to change that if he could. As it looks like both drivers got a good run out of 4. And Ford just pulling out of the way, conceding the position to Higginbotham, doing the gentlemanly thing there. And again, it's just that kind of sliding, and I think he did just kiss the wall there, as a matter of fact. But let's see if the position trade happens to help the 64 at all. As there you see Nelson continuing on in the lead. Nickens 2nd, Higginbotham 3rd, Ford in 4th. As we get a look at your race leader now for the first time. Jacob Nelson out of Tennessee. And he's just got clear track all the way in front of him, and looks like we got some pit stops coming in behind. And we'll have to see. And I think Darcy Ford is among the cars who made his way into pit lane there just a moment ago, if the communication from race control is to be believed. As it looks like Higginbotham stayed out. Nickens is going low, so I think that's the indicator that he may be going into pit lane this time around. I think that's typically the sign that we've seen over the course of the season, but love to see. Maybe that was just an alternate run here for the 18. No, he does in fact dive in. So Nickens into pit lane. Jacob Nelson maintains the lead. It sounds like Corbin McCauley's headed to pit lane here now as well. Bob Drew III just making his way out, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. And Jacob Nelson continuing on. Last win was, I believe, at Michigan in Season 2 as someone goes through the grass there. I think that may have been Beatty. Not sure if he was just coming out of pit lane, but certainly a big old dust cloud coming out of the pit exit there, Riggs. Obviously, it is fairly well marked off, but, it can still get a little bit hairy down there.
Well, yeah, it's a very... that's the thing, entering pit road, if you choose to enter in that same area except on the other side, or if you want to, or whenever you're exiting the pit road out that way, it's a very tight corner. You don't want to have too much acceleration going through, because you can easily lose your car around there and get through the grass, and then just even spins you even more around. So it's definitely one of those factors in having that fast pit stop, plus getting out as fast as you can, but at the same time, though, you can't go out too fast because, It's just a way too tight of a corner getting out, and also exiting off down the back straightaway there as well, trying to get up in a safe manner, especially if there's a lot of cars coming around. Although if you have an open space, it's completely fine. But yeah, once again, it's very tight coming off, and you gotta be careful because it can be loose as anything. It's both tight and yeah.
And really, getting back up to speed as Nelson heads into pit lane, he's going to concede the lead. But the point that I was going to make, like, just getting back up to speed out of pit lane, as you say, like, you want to keep it under control, but at the same time, you're a little bit of a sitting duck there as well if something happens to go down around you. It's a little bit of a tough spot to go, but, you know, it's one of those things that the drivers do have to take into account, as we've got a bit of a drag race down the start-finish straight between Reggie Kime and John Peden. And it looks like Peden's going to have the inside line through turn 1. And that'll be the 53 grabbing the position. Corbin McCauley looking for something here on Kime as well out of 2. And I'm not sure if that's just a difference in pit strategies perhaps, or Kime just having something not quite working right, but certainly he hasn't had the speed to defend in the last couple of corners as McCauley takes the position. And now it looks like he's set to go by Jonathan Peden as well as the 17. And he's indeed done so coming through turn 4. And I should point out, we're not 100% sure if this is for position or not. And it's lapped cars, I'm being told by the man himself, as part of the race control core group here, I guess you could call them. Yeah, it sounds like we've got some slightly alternating pit cycles, which is what's contributing to some of the passes that you just saw as we go to Jonathan War, as we try to, again, get things sorted out after what appears to be that green flag run of stops here in stage 2. And it looks like War's coming up on the back of Dan Cudmore here. Indeed so, as they come through 2. Again, not 100% sure if this is for position or not. And it looks like Brandon Reed is kind of queued up behind War here as we check in now on Darcy Ford. And Ford, not sure if that's Nelson ahead of him that he's trying to track down. It certainly looks like the 9. Indeed it is. And Ford into the wall. So he had that car running real loose and it was real slippery earlier. And I don't know if his pit stop was necessarily correcting that, as, again, we just saw him brush into the wall there again, Reegs. So not necessarily the night 64 had perhaps pictured so far.
Well, that's the thing earlier. We were seeing in stage 1 that Ford was able to be up there a little bit throughout. I believe it was around maybe the top 10 or so. But yeah, right now it's just, things seem to slowly been kind of falling off a cliff a bit here for Darcy Ford. But again, we still have another stage left to go, and maybe some racecraft changes, some strategy changes could help him get back into it. And did he just hit the wall again there?
Yeah, there might be a little bit of wall riding going on here, whether it's kind of voluntary or not. Looks like he kept it clean that time around, though.
Yeah, I swear I could see him hit it there. I'm trying to get through the bit of the lumberjack quality that's still going on here, but I was doing my best.
Yeah, we all are. We all are.
Yeah,
but what I can tell you, again, is that looks like Ford's trying to track down Jacob Nelson here. Once again, I think they've got Mike Nickens in the rear view. 4 laps to go in stage number 2, so things have moved along fairly quickly here, it has to be said.
And that's, I guess you could say it might feel a bit surprising compared to Gateway, but I mean, that race that was like, what, 100% length? That was way longer. So it's definitely a relief, especially for the drivers as well. And based on what I can look at, let's say from the schedule here, yeah, 184 laps at Darlington and 94 laps at Talladega. Anything could happen.
Well, at least it's not one stage being 110 laps. Am I right?
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what we experienced at Gateway, and literally, it felt worse than Charlotte in a sense. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah, Charlotte with the longer distance, but then both races were 200 laps, and yet for being, I think, considered the shorter track, Gateway somehow managed to be longer. So yeah, it's definitely kind of that one race where it's given that driver some relief and just getting through it as fast as you can, but at the same time still racing as hard as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, with Darlington in the distance, that might kind of be a bit of a short thing to go through. It's like, hey, after Gateway, it's like, ooh, Indianapolis? Oh, it's going to be a little bit short. Okay, let's just get through this. And they're like, ooh, okay, yep. I hope some of the races after this are kind of still as Darlington? Oh, no.
Yeah. I mean,
if that's a way to put it.
There's something to be said for earning your spot. We may have made that kind of ending to the regular season maybe a little bit kind of more crushing than maybe we expected, but hey, you got to earn it. And
yes, exactly.
It appears earned the position here on Ford. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, you said you got to earn your spot. You got to earn it. No matter if the race is long and endurance then you got to deal with that. If the race is short, and you got to be as quick as possible to gain as many positions as you can, and to really have your racecraft be at its best immediately. There's that balance. It's been all part of the headlines that we've gotten through this regular season, coming towards the playoffs with parity. With the new drivers coming in, mixing in with some of the veterans that have been able to stay since day one.
Yep.
All kinds of multiple different tracks that we've been going to, and now we're at a crown jewel one once again here. And quite literally, you could argue that we have the final 3 races of the regular season. You could argue we're all crown jewel if you want to consider Talladega one of them, but I guess if you don't consider Talladega one, then yeah, we literally have Indianapolis and Darlington, 2 races right there in a row with those tracks. So I mean, it's the top thing here in the headlines. But again, I've been saying, it's just parity. That's what makes this season so unique in comparison to the past 2. And I guess I'll personally say I guess it was definitely very good timing of me coming in. So
yeah. No, it definitely worked out, and it looks like we're coming to the end of stage 2 here, as we were able to talk that one basically all the way through. And I believe, if my eyes don't deceive me, that I do believe it was Jacob Nelson who picked up the stage win. Trying to get a word. We'll get the official stage outcome here momentarily, as we've got most of our race control function back. And again, we're doing our best to kind of get the ship righted here. Things are coming along. Just, probably need one more week. We'll have it all good for the playoffs. I can guarantee you that. As again, we're just waiting for the official top 10 from stage 2 to come through. I believe you're watching the top 3 here on your screen: Nelson, Nickens, and Ford. And okay, so we just got the stage, and it was actually 3 through 5 that we were watching. So again, we'll have to do a little bit better job of trying to keep track, but it was John Peden who picked up the stage win, as stage number 3 is officially underway now. So, rundown of the top 10 in stage number 2. It's John Peden picking up the win. Reggie Kime there in second. He turned in a really strong drive last week at Gateway, and it seems to be continuing here. And it was 3 through 5 that we we're watching at the very end of stage 2. Nelson in 3rd, Nickens 4th, Darcy Ford in 5th.
Very tight racing up here at the front. Very tight.
Andy Hurdle in 7th, so another 4 points for him. Chase Beatty grabbed 8th. Bob Drew the 3rd in 9th. And Tom Janikowski rounded out the top 10 as we check in on Chase Beatty here now. Things very tight up front, I'm being told, and you're getting evidence of that here very early on in stage number 3.
Yeah, it's the time to shine. It's the time to pounce. How many laps is this stage once again, just to get a confirmation?
To be honest, I am not 100% sure on that. I don't know if I ever got those numbers. So again, that's
okay. Well, anyway,
yeah.
Let's just not go off numbers. It could be 30. It could be like 25. It could be 30. It could be 35. It could be in that range. But like, okay, it's 20.
26 to go. We're being told.
Yeah, we're coming to 26 laps to go in this stage. I guess we're pretty much in that range. But yeah, that's the thing too. Like, it's getting tight here because I mean, obviously, it's the final stage. These stages have gone by pretty quick if you think about it, and like, yep, it's the time to shine. If these stages are going, if these stages are going by so quick, then you got to get up there. You need to get into those top spots, especially considering like, with strategy and, whenever you have to eventually come in for those pit stops, if you're up at the front, then it's your opportunity. It'll be your best opportunity to potentially stay up there as long as you don't get any penalties whenever you come down pit lane. You get out safely, and that's pretty much all there has to be said. And there's a battle for the lead here. It's between Mike Nickens and I can't really see. Is that Jonathan Peden?
That's John Peden in the 53, the stage 2 winner. And another 2 of the Floridians going at it here, and it's the 18 who comes out on top.
We got the underdog, and we've got the road course ace, who's also gotten some solid finishes on the ovals as well. Yeah, Tornado Alley. We got someone not on Tornado Alley versus someone on Tornado Alley. You'd think that's kind of a shocking thing to say, considering how this regular season has gone. But the thing is, at Gateway, we were saying Nickens, he scored the pole, and we really thought he was going to be a top contender for the win. We thought he was going to eventually finally score his first career victory. I'm correct in saying that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean,
it would be his first. It would have been his first career victory. So.
Yeah, but then obviously the events of stage 3 happened. The top 3 all kind of getting taken out. And eventually, as you say, that kind of opened the door for Jose Mercado to pick up the win. Meanwhile, this is a great battle up front here between Nickens and Peden. Darcy Ford trying to stay within striking distance here in 3rd. And it sounds like
super Speedway
based on what I heard from the race control group, it looks like probably not worrying too much about fuel saving from this point on. It's basically just get out there and race.
Okay, so that might completely remove what I said earlier about pit stops and strategies, unless someone wants to somehow come in for tires, but that's probably not the best idea. But yeah, if everyone's going to end up being good on fuel, especially the leaders, this right here might be what we're seeing as the battle for the win between Nickens and Peden, and I believe that's Darcy Ford there back in 3rd place. So
yes, it is.
He'll want to stay up there with that. He wants to keep a decent gap behind them so that he can pounce just in case the 2 of them could collide. Maybe one of them gets in trouble, and then he's able to gain a position like 2nd place. Maybe he could gain 1st or 2nd. As long as he just stays there with them, like, he might be able to finally be able to rebound after what's been kind of some up and down luck through this season. Because to be honest, with how he's done in seasons 1 and 2, you would think by now he might have a win. But I mean, with these new guys coming in and just the overall parity that this season has provided, it's been like almost the one time where Darcy Ford is finally getting like a pretty solid challenge. Not saying he wasn't at all in past seasons, but like this time around, it's like a true challenge. So staying up there with them, it's going to be very key for him. And I mean, the thing is too, as long as he's able to get a good finish, that's all that really matters.
Indeed so. As we get down to the fringes of the top 10 here, it looks like Reggie Kime might be trying to make a move on Bob Drew the third here, going through turns 1 and 2. Looked like Kime was closer there than he wound up actually being. But it looks like you got that kind of line of 4 cars here. Beatty leading that quartet. I think this is position 6 through 9 that you're seeing. Or perhaps 7 through 10. Looks like Drew's running a slightly higher line. That might give Kime a window to get in. And the 2 Top Gun guys running together. I think there may have been a little brush there. Drew holds onto it, but Kime gets the position. As we're down to, I believe, 22 laps to go in tonight's race. So, yeah, as we say, Kime just getting ahead of Bob Drew there. And we'll bring it back, or I guess we'll stay with this battle here for another minute as we watch Andy hurdle. And he's picked up 8 very valuable points here tonight through the 2 stages. And, a top 10 finish would be massive for the number 7 if he's able to hold on and claim that spot.
I am looking back here on the stream here. I noticed an angle as the last time they were coming down the front stretch on the previous lap, but I think there might have been possibly a wreck, or maybe someone was coming down pit road. I could not tell, but something happened back there that I couldn't fully catch. Just something that I noticed.
Yeah, and as you say that, it looked like we had somebody coming out of pit lane. I think someone actually went in as well.
It was probably that, yeah. It was probably that.
Didn't get into the particulars of who was doing what, but as we're with Ty Higginbotham here now, running in 5th place. Basically riding right on the back of Jacob Nelson. And Higginbotham even potentially trying to give the 9 a little bit of a bump, perhaps to catch Darcy Ford to get 3 through 5 back together here. As again, it looks like it is a battle between Nickens and Peden just a little bit further up the road, as it looks like Jameson's coming out of pit lane now. And there you just saw the lead battle go by right before it focused back on Higginbotham. So, yeah, leaders, all 5 basically on that back straight. So, yeah, it's not a done deal for anybody just yet here. Certainly not among this lead group of 5. As we'll stay with that group and check in with Jacob Nelson now running in 4th. And coming up on, I believe, I'm not sure if it's 18 laps to go or 19. I had heard 20 previously, but then I forgot how to math. So, I think that is 19 to go. Still a pretty good battle here. We're getting word that there's a lead battle here, and there it is.
Oh, they're side by side. Here they go.
Yeah, Peden and Nickens, yes, side by side on that back straight. Peden's going to have the inside line. Man, oh man, these two are going right at it, and look at that. 3 through 5 are just zooming right up as these two battle.
Could we see a potential finish here with cars close together in comparison to some of the past couple races?
I know we just saw a little bumps there.
Oh yeah, they're getting tight. That's 4 cars right there. Who's the 4th car? Behind that's 5 cars.
That's
I think
5,
I'm saying.
And that's 17 laps to go, we're being told.
Who's
so
that behind
Nickens remains your leader. Peden in 2nd, Ford in 3rd, Nelson 4th, Higginbotham rounds out the top 5.
It's Nelson Higginbotham. Okay, so yeah, we might. I think it's been a while since we've actually seen like a very close finish between multiple cars. like we're in a stage here where like pit stops apparently like aren't going to be a thing like for the leaders. Like everyone seems to be good on fuels, so it's going to come down to the wire. There's still time here. Could be first career win for Nickens. Maybe Peden scores his third win of the season. Darcy Ford could finally get another victory after a while. Maybe Nelson gets one after a couple of earlier runner-up finishes earlier this regular season. Maybe Higginbottom. Trying to remember here.
That'd be his second.
Scores his second win. Yeah, it'd be his second win. Yeah, I'm looking at the statistics. The kind of outdated ones, but it's what we've got.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to fill in the blanks wherever I can here, as
exactly.
Nickens is, well, he dipped down. I wonder if that's an indicator that he's coming in. Oh, a little bit of a glitch there. I think that's more of a connection thing, though, since all three of them did the old twist. And now, coming out of turn 4, we'll see what we've got as Nickens does pit. So, I wonder if that is...
Oh, wow.
I wonder if it's a tire gamble for the 18, or maybe it is a fuel thing. I am not sure.
I swear, we keep saying...
backwards...
we keep saying something that we think might happen or that we speculate, we're just discussing something, and then out of complete nowhere, the complete opposite happens.
Yep, that sounds about right.
The broadcaster jinx exists, man. Jeez.
Oh, it absolutely exists, and Ford's opportunity at the lead certainly exists here as he's going inside on John Peden. And it looks like the 64 is pushed forward, but Higginbotham's going through the inside 3 into 4. And Ty Higginbotham might just push himself up into the lead. 4-car battle.
Oh my God, is that a fork?
I think Jacob Nelson may have slotted into pit lane.
It's a super speedway pick. Okay.
So Higginbotham and Ford drag racing down the straight here. John Peden right there with them. And again, I thought I was hearing that fuel wasn't going to be a thing, but again, we're looking at pit stops, certainly.
Whoa, there's contact.
A little bit of a...
Oh, there's Darcy.
So Higginbotham and Peden both pitting this lap. Sounds like Corbin McCauley headed in as well, as we just saw Andy Hurdle rejoin. But yes, Higginbotham and Peden both into pit lane this lap, we're being told. And as a matter of fact, there they go.
A little squirrely there from Higginbotham.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the in-laps ultimately worked out for the guys here, as Hunter Young makes his way into pit lane. Tonight's pole sitter, Chase Beatty, making his way out. And Mike Nickens was the first of that lead group to pit, so we'll have to see what his outlaps were ultimately able to do for him, as he did, I believe, pit from the lead. So again, we'll have to see just how much speed or what kind of times he's been able to lay down the last couple times around, as we're coming up on 10 remaining here tonight. And Nickens making his way down start-finish straight. We'll have to see if any of the leaders happen to emerge there. Matter of fact, there's 3 of them. So, yeah, Higginbotham, Peden, and Ford all exiting pit lane. Nickens is going to come out ahead of them. So, it looks like pitting earlier has worked out to the benefit of the number 18 of Mike Nickens here, as he emerges about a third of a straightaway ahead. And let's just see. I would say we've probably got a bit of a race on our hands here at the very end. As again, we're coming up on about 10 laps remaining in this one. Should get an official count here in relatively short order as Nickens tries to make his way around Mattiello. And there's the move made cleanly through turn 2. And I think that might be the front of Jacob Nelson. Indeed, it is. So we'll have to try and get something resembling a running order here relatively quickly, just to make sure we don't miss anything rather eventful here, or potentially eventful at the very end. But certainly, knock on wood, and I've just done that from here in Alberta. And yeah, sounds like Darcy Ford may have just taken himself out of the running here, at least the running for a win by, and I don't know if you heard this on the Discord side of things, but if you didn't, it was, and I quote, making love to the wall. So
no, I very clearly heard that one.
Yeah. So now, oh man, I could say something to that, but then we'd have to say this broadcast isn't for kids. So we probably will just leave it there. But Jacob Nelson certainly isn't satisfied with leaving things where they are. He's right on the back of Mike Nickens here.
PG-13.
We may have ourselves a 4 or 5 car battle here at the very end. Higginbotham and Peden right there as well.
Yeah, it's back to normal, except without Darcy Ford. That's depressing in a way, but I mean, we've still got a battle. No offense.
I think it's going to bring us a hell of a finish here, as Nickens is looking for his first win of the year.
Exactly.
Nelson looking for his first win since Michigan of last season. And Nelson's getting a bit of a push here from Higginbotham. Wheel to wheel here. Nelson taking over the lead.
They're touching.
And it looks like Nelson's moved in front. And was there maybe a little bit of a commotion back in the turn? Thought I saw a little bit of smoke coming up, but I could be wrong on that. But again, what I can tell you is, yeah, Jacob Nelson there up into the lead now. Nickens in second, Peden looking to get, or that was Higginbotham, excuse me, looking to get in on the inside. Peden's there in fourth. So this lead quartet here, I'm not sure if Chase Beatty's in on this on the lead lap here or not. But if he is, then that could potentially bring it to a group of 5 here at the very end as well.
Who is that again? Pardon?
So, if my eyes are correct, Nelson leads, Higginbotham second, Nickens third now, Peden fourth, and that looks like Chase Beatty behind them. And again, I'm not sure if the 25's on the lead lap or not, but he's certainly tucked in behind Nickens now.
The only way we'll know is if he goes and fights for a spot, so.
And he sure looks like he wants to hang on to the back of the 18. And yeah, it looks like this year's Daytona winner may have some fight in him here, as Nickens had a little brush with the wall.
Oh my.
And yeah, Beatty is right on the back of Nickens, so this has to be for position.
Oh, and they're going for it at the lead. They're going for it.
And we'll have to see if we can actually get a lap count here momentarily. And it looks like Higginbotham's actually taken the lead here. So let's see if we can get back to the 97 here on our screen. There he is.
There we go.
7 laps to go in tonight's race.
7. Oh boy, this is going to be a barn burner. And it already is.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a rather formidable quintet here, as again, Higginbotham leads Peden, Nelson in third, Nickens fourth, Chase Beatty rounding out the top 5.
Yep, Beatty is a lead car. We're getting confirmation. Chase Beatty does want to get the win.
Absolutely, and I mean, again, he grabbed it at Daytona, so the Daytona Indy double, that wouldn't be a bad one.
Here comes Nelson for second.
Looking to hold on. Higginbotham gets high out of 4. Looks like he's taking the right line here, though. Crosses the line, 6 to go right about now. Higginbotham still leads. Peden in second. Nelson third. Nickens fourth. Beatty in fifth. Top 5 all running together here. Through turn 2. Looks like everyone's staying fairly clean so far. So if you're one of those guys, say you're chasing at the tail of this pack here, Riggs, how much longer would you want to leave a move?
Well, first of all, don't say it's pretty clean so far. Don't say that. Don't.
Hey, I knocked on wood from this side. I did, as Peden looks like he's going down the inside.
Here comes Peden. But I will answer your question, though, still. I would say, the thing is, considering he's kind of back in 5th, I would be maybe a little bit patient. Like, he could still go for it at any point, but I would probably be a little bit patient until I'd say maybe the final 2 or 3 laps if he's still in those positions, because trust me, like, it's going to get absolutely crazy. There could be, with the amount of contact and close racing we're seeing, he might want to maybe stay a little bit more cautious and be able to prevail on some possible contact. Maybe if some cars get together and they go around and everything, then like he could be smart. He could go for it. We'll just have to see what happens here as we're going to wind down, I believe, to the final 5 laps as we come back around here and there. And that looks like
actually
going to be
4 at the line. Oh, were they 3 wide a second ago? Man,
Something
happened. I think Beatty may have just made his move. And some contact there between Nelson and Peden. Man, oh man, this is going to be good. Somehow Higginbotham shuffles down to 5th.
I was saying about the contact. I was saying about that. Beatty is now like 3rd or something.
Yeah,
it looks like Beatty's about 3rd or 4th now.
4th. As it looks like Peden's got the lead here once again. Nelson in 2nd, Nickens 3rd. And Beatty 4th, Higginbotham dropping down to 5th. Again, 4 laps to go. It'll be 3 at the line. And let's just see. Yeah, I got backwards. I'm not sure if John Peden had a disconnect in qualifying or not, but it showed him as qualifying last tonight, so it had to be a disconnection, I would think. But either way, he's at the top of the boards right now, and he's coming up on 3 to go this time around.
The thing is, if you're the leader within these final laps, I'd be extremely careful, because trust me, if you can get that good draft right behind, if you're one of those drivers behind him, you can get a pretty good draft there along these long straightaways. So that's going to be something for the leader to keep an eye on here. And I can only imagine he's probably running maybe a bit scared, although at the same time it looks like he's putting on quite the gap actually here.
Absolutely he is. It looks like all he needed was a little bit of clean air ahead. And yeah, the 53, as you say, really starting to open things up here. And that top 5 starting to kind of separate from itself as well. As Nelson's there in a relatively distant 2nd at this point, with 2 laps to go this time around. So it's now 2 to go. Peden leads from Nelson. Higginbotham, I think, moved up into 3rd, as a matter of fact. Let's just see. Yeah, I didn't quite catch what was going on in the background. Let me see if I can get a camera angle that might suggest it. Yeah, not quite close enough, as Jameson looks like he may have had another pit lane adventure. But it's looking like things have kind of opened up again here for the 53 of Jonathan Peden out of Pensacola, Florida. That'll be 2 wins in 3 weeks if he's able to hold on. But it looks like Jacob Nelson might be making one last push here as they're going to come up to the white flag. And let's just see here.
He's trying to break off that draft. He's trying to break off the draft there from Nelson. I mean, it's still quite the gap, but at the same time, if you can break up that draft, then that can seriously help you keep the distance over 2nd place.
Indeed so, yeah. Final lap of tonight's Fix Auto Charlottetown 200 at the Brickyard. Jonathan Peden through turn 2. Just the straightaway and a couple more turns to go. Trying desperately to break off the draft here from Jacob Nelson. Nelson remaining high. Peden will tuck into that high line into turn 3. And it's looking like right now, John Peden, it's looking fairly clear for him as he comes out of 4. And it's looking like for the third time this year, we're going to be calling the 53 into victory lane as Jonathan Peden goes to kiss the bricks. He wins tonight's Fix Auto 200 at the Brickyard. And certainly a very entertaining final 7 or 8 laps here. But again, ultimately, Reeves, it was the 53. He comes out with win number 3.
Kind of a late bloomer in this race. We didn't really see a whole lot of him at the very front. It was kind of more towards the end of stage 2 and then coming through stage 3. So, yeah, quite the resurgence for Jonathan Peden today, as he will, yes, like you said, he's going to go and kiss the bricks, and he is officially a Brickyard 400 winner.
And again, second win in 3 weeks for him. So much for taking his foot off the gas, I guess you could say. And yeah, he's absolutely made it work. Of course, the 2 road course victories this year at Canadian Tire.